I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and today I'm having an early look at the Mark 7.5 Volkswagen Golf R. Yesterday I drove the new GTI, and you can click up here to check that out, but today it's time to drive the ultimate Golf. With a 213 kilowatt tune of Volkswagen's EA888 engine, all-wheel drive, 19-inch wheels, and a host of other subtle aesthetic cues, the Golf R is as focused as this model gets. Well, I'm going to give you a quick refresher on the R, and we're also going to check out what's changed on the Mark 7.5 generation. So let's jump inside and check it out. Here in Australia, as standard, the Golf R comes very highly specified, and that starts with these comfortable and supportive leather seats. They're heated, they're standard fit, and the driver also gets 14-way electric adjustment with 3-position memory. Further afield, you get the upgraded 9.2-inch screen from the Mark 7.5 Golf update, and that looks really great. It has gesture control to change some of the functions, and that works okay. And it's paired to Volkswagen's active info display in front of the driver, which switches out the analog dials in favor of a really crisp 12-inch screen. And that works really well, especially on a technical country road where you can see the lay of the land unfolding in front of you. But you can make the Golf R even more luxurious by going for the forthcoming Wolfsburg edition. And that changes the leather out for Napa, and it also adds a Dynaudio sound system at 400 watts. In keeping with the Golf R's really subtle sleeper status, it's a very subtle and understated cabin in here, and even things like the loud stitching from the GTI is replaced by instead a plain white here on this lovely steering wheel. But most other things about the Golf R are just standard Golf fit out, and that means generally high quality plastics and ample storage. Just like with the GTI, one of the huge benefits of the Golf R is that you get a good sized back seat along with your really fun performance car. So you can get 3 people sitting side by side back here, but if they're adults, it'll be 2 that fit comfortably. For me, it's 6 foot. You can see that I've got no problem with room, plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom, and okay tow room, despite the electric mechanism on the driver's seat. Of course, there are a couple of amenities: flip down armrest with a couple of cup holders, air vents on every Golf R, just as there are on every Golf. And although some of the nice trim from up front does repeat itself in this car, like the leather on these parts of the doors, the plastic up here is a little bit scratchy. Likewise, the Golf R has a great boot. So you open it from behind this badge, and you'll find that there's 380 litres of space back there, enough to get at least a couple of medium-sized suitcases side by side, probably big ones. It's a clever boot, 2 small bins either side of the floor, shopping bag hooks, an easy car to live with every day. So the Golf R receives in Australia a 213 kilowatt tune of the 2-litre EA888 TSI engine. That's a bit less than some other parts of the world. It's because Australia is classed as a hot climate market and the engine can't be quite as powerful. However, that 213 kilowatts only kicks in up quite high in the rev range, so that would indicate that it likes to be worked hard. But just like the GTI, heaps of torque is available right in the low end. So this car has 380 Newton meters of torque, and that's all available from just 1850 RPM. So the acceleration is rapid and it's really, really linear. However, just like other versions of the EA888, this one has valve lift control, and it has 2 profiles, a low-end profile and a high-end profile. And you can really feel the effect of that most on this Golf R, because the engine seems to come alive all over again quite high in the rev band, as the engine revs cleanly right up to about 6900 RPM. And it's at that rev that if you have the DSG, it will upshift automatically, so it won't bounce off the rev limiter like some other gearboxes, which I actually think is quite cool. This will take over from you if you rev it right up and out, so just something to keep in mind. But that gearbox is a new wet clutch 7-speed DSG. You can also get the car with a 6-speed manual, which is pretty cool. The new DSG, it feels really smooth and snappy out here on flowing roads, which is where DSGs always do their best work. In terms of how improved it is in town, I'll need to wait until I get the R back onto my own urban roads. The steering is really nice, so it's actually got progressive steering like other performance Golfs. It takes a bit of getting used to, but once you realize just how much corner you can get into a very small change in steering angle, it's pretty addictive. So you don't have to turn the wheel much to achieve a really sharp corner. And that makes the Golf R feel very agile. and that's also aided by the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, which sends torque to the back wheels very rapidly, either if slip is detected or if it feels that you're cornering really tenaciously, and it will claw you through a difficult corner, basically getting you out of a sticky situation by adding more power, Mitsubishi Evo style, which is always cool. It sounds okay. It can make a decent sound if you choose the race mode sound through the car's infotainment screen, but it's going to sound a lot better when the Akrapovic exhaust system is available in Australia, and VW are hoping for that next year, but it will probably be a costly option. And the ride quality, to be honest, it's just a little bit too firm, I think, and that mostly comes down to the 235/35 19-inch Continental Conti Sport Contact tyres. Really, the springs aren't that different from the GTI. It's a slightly harder spring rate, but it really comes down to those low-profile tyres, which I've found today really do not cope well with hard hits, expansion joints, and big potholes on country roads. The GTI is a lot more supple. So those are my first impressions of the Mark 7.5 Golf R. The R is a special car, feature-packed and barely over 50 grand. It's excellent value. It's fast, especially in the corners, where the all-wheel drive just grabs hold of tarmac and torpedoes you straight on through. And I love the Q car looks. The only significant criticism I have is the ride quality, which is brutal in race and only slightly softer in comfort. Australia's back roads are fun, but they're terribly maintained, and here the R is just too firm. This is exactly where a GTI feels, to me at least, more balanced. But many will be fine to put up with that in return for the Golf R's blistering combination of speed, traction, and maturity. And the Mark 7.5 further closes the gap between this and an Audi S3, making the Volkswagen feel like a rather clever buy indeed.